Local tourism promoter and entrepreneur Peter-Hain Kazapua has been hard at work to promote agri-tourism in the Omaheke region. He believes that the region has real potential for agri-tourism given its dependency on agriculture. Kazapua, founder of Uakii Wilderness, is of the opinion that agri-tourism will complement Omaheke's farming sector well, and also that it's of course something that is worth pursuing. He now joins us on the line to tell us more about this initiative and, of course, what we can explore in this topic. A very good morning to you. Welcome to NAMIBIA Connect.
Good morning to you and good morning to the listeners, and thank you for the opportunity. But I think the voice, I can hear you very low.
I'll try to speak as loud as I can, but thank you so much for making the time. You have been at the helm of the Uakii Wilderness for several years since you founded it. Just take us, briefly through the journey that led you to found Uakii Wilderness, and what exactly does it do?
Thank you very much once again for the opportunity. Uakii Wilderness was founded years back, and it has a passion for promoting our culture, heritage, and lifestyles of our people, mostly in the eastern part of Namibia, which is the Omaheke Region. So for many years, because the region itself has been overlooked, but we are so much rich into cultural and community-based tourism. Through that, Uakii Wilderness has decided to really focus on cultural tourism, community-based tourism, and also increasingly agri-tourism, which is my main experience that is really coming up within our region, where we allow our guests and visitors and schools and locals as well to learn from one another in terms of our tradition, our food, farming culture, ways of communication, ways of life, and exchange with our land and so on. These things are things that really benefits local communities as well. So based on that, that's how Uakii Wilderness was basically founded, to be able to advocate also for new routes and stuff like that for Omaheke.
Very well. Now, you mentioned cultural tourism, and you have been at the forefront of tourism, especially, cultural tourism in the Omaheke region, and you believe that the region has, potential for tourism. Just expand a bit on that. Tell us more about the potential, really, that the Omaheke region has as far as cultural tourism is concerned, and what you hope, needs to be perhaps investing into to bring this dream to life.
Yeah, surely no. The region is under-marketed, is overlooked because, but it has a very strong potential for tourism development. Firstly, I will say that we are located in the Trans-Kalahari Corridor, which really connects many other countries. But just on the handset, you can look at Botswana and South Africa, to a certain extent, Big Falls as well. So we have a number of really travelers that moves along those routes every year, and also the right tourism products that will encourage them to stop. But these are not really explored, so hence people are using the region and the town of Obabes as an exit. But we have many unique products to offer authentically when it comes to rural development and also cultural experience, local traditional food, lifestyle. So these are potential that needs to be unearthed. Jokingly, one colleague of mine years back was telling me, you are in a region that is like an unpolished diamond. So we have a lot that we'll be able to offer, but this needs to be packaged correctly and supported and put out there. So we really have a destination as a product that we can offer in Omaheke. So it's huge potential that we have. And remember, Omaheke is known for as a cattle country. So we need to tell our own story as the eastern part of Namibia in terms of the agri-tourism product as well.
Marketing is a very, very important part of of course, promoting tourism, like you mentioned, and that's of course one of the stumbling blocks that you've mentioned. Can you tell us perhaps some of the other challenges that are currently experienced as far as tourism in Omaheke is concerned? And also, do you believe that tourism establishments such as yours are well supported by relevant sectors such as government, NGOs, and even the public or private sector in that case?
Yeah, no, you are well correct. The biggest challenges, we have challenges, but the biggest challenges that we are getting within the region is still that we are very much underrepresented when it comes to the marketing of the region, development of community-based tourism in those remote areas. So that on its own is a big challenge that the region, we are not visible, and we cannot, fortunately, not do it on our own. And simply many tourists, like I've said, are really passing without knowing what experiences are available in the region. And because of the under-marketing that we are also going through. When you look at infrastructure development, when you look at surely marketing, basic things like signage, tourism signage, where you are indicating in terms of, for example, when you go to coming from Botswana, you can easily, from the Kobabes, north or south, you can go directly to Sossusvlei or to Etosha National Park Namotoni, but these roads are not exposed, these roads are not marketed, there is no signage in terms of that. That is very crucial. But we have a very, very good tourism network that can link all these attractions from the eastern part as well. Another challenge is access to land for tourism development. As entrepreneurs, we would want to, for example, Uakii Wilderness started as a small tourism information center. We moved now at where we are. It's a tour operator that is dealing with tours and stuff like that. But we don't want to be there. We want to expand. We want to go into owning lodges as local black entrepreneurs in the Omaheke region, competing against the other members as well. So that is also very important. The other opportunities that are there, but also can be turned into positive opportunities. But currently, we are stuck where tourism projects are not seems to be suitable for our resettlement funds. So land us allocation in terms of resettlement fund to ownership of tourism products are a bit skew, and we need to really look at that and convert into that challenge into a great opportunity, because if you convert that resettlement fund into an agri-tourism development, it's a huge opportunity that can be accessed. So our government really, the leadership on top, needs to really start looking at how the settlement funds can be converted into, also be given, for that matter, that can be converted into tourism products as well, rather than just look at focusing only on cattle farming. But even if when you look at on cattle farming, agri-tourism falls in there. So yes, surely our government is supportive. NGO in the public is very much well supportive for the region, but much more needs to be done when you compare a region to other regions or other towns like, for example, our national parks, Etosha, Sossusvlei, Swakopmund, Malfest, Chiwarongo. Those towns are really supported by the organizations like the government, NAMIBIA Tourism Board, TASA, FANATA, all those things that needs to be also refocused to Omaheke as well, because our need support in area, we need support in areas like access to land, for example. Just on top of my head, maybe we can look at financial support for small tourism business in remote areas. Surely marketing, training, and mentorship are very important that we can, when we supported that, we can strongly drive our economic and in the Omaheke region as well.
What would you say is the long-term goal, Peter, when it comes to, perhaps promoting agritourism in the Omaheke region? What would you like to see as a result of tourism really developing in that part of the country? And what would you like to really, be the lasting impact that it has for not only the communities but for the country at large?
The long-term impact would be, first, we have already a perfect road infrastructure from the eastern part to our national parks, for example. But that needs to, the government and relevant authority needs to take a deliberate decision to create new roads from Botswana into Namibia, Zimbabwe, and north or east, not north or south. That needs to be a deliberate decision that needs to be taken by our leadership. If that is done, then permanent jobs can be created through tourism. And remember, tourism is one of the industries that create massive jobs as well. And under the leadership of our current president, it is clearly that tourism is an enabler. So there is a lot that can be done into that. As a long-term effect, I would want to see that local communities in remote villages are able to benefit from tourism products. And I will continuously emphasize about agri-tourism, because agri-tourism it's community-based. It's very, very, very simple, but it can put bread on the table. It can really benefit local communities. So that would be our long-term dream, or something that we would want the government, private sector, as well as the NGOs to be able to support. Because when you look at the definition of agri-tourism, that's why I'm saying it touched down to the core of the village person sitting in the village, simply experiencing farm life, food culture, and our tradition and nature. So staying on the farm, for example, milking a cattle, feeding, these are things that our people are already traditionally doing. We are just bringing them into the economical sense to be able to also afford them, because that will also diversify the products that we have, and that is our long-term dream.
Finally, Peter, what's next for Uakii Wilderness and Omaheke tourism in general? What can we expect to be seeing, perhaps as far as the immediate developments are concerned? What is next for agritourism, Uakii Wilderness, and Omaheke tourism in general?
Yeah, maybe going forward, one would want to continue to promote innovation and tourism models that combine tourism, agritourism, and also community development. That is very key, because Uakii Wilderness will not be able to do it alone. We need to have legs to stand on. So if that innovation in tourism models are supported, and that will take us on further as well. And also one concept that we are advocating for is the integration of agritourism and agritourism development hub. Most importantly, on best locations, including our government resettlement farms, that we can combine that with agritourism, for example, food production, cultural tourism, and training opportunities for the youth as well. So that is very key in terms of what could be next for Uakii Wilderness. Slightly, we also basically strongly believe in opportunities to develop new routes through Omaheke Region. I cannot emphasize this enough, because it's a very, very good concept when you develop those routes that comes in. For example, let me just give quickly two examples. When you go in from Botswana, you come to Kobabes, and then you can when you travel on the north, you can go to Oshinene, Okonjatu, Grootfontein, Chumep, and then you can go to Namutoni. You are cutting almost 2 hours drive if you avoid going to Vendo, for example. So those are new routes that can also, along those sites, create jobs and also put the region on the map as well. And it is also interchanged with other other regions as well. That applies also the same when you go to Marintal. For example, you go to Aminus through Botswana, you go to Aranos, Marintal, Malta here, Sausage Bay. And it's also a new development that we want to push on as a company as well. But also new roads like when you go to Epokiro, you go to Ace Block, you go to Gam, Tsumkwe, and finally to Kodom National Park. These are unique routes that can be developed and so on. So that is our goal, to continue working with communities as well, partners and government, to ensure that basically Omaheke becomes recognized as the destination of authentic types of tourism and agritourism for that matter. So that will be our role as well.
For the best in terms of tourism in that part of the country. Of course, hope to speak to you in the future as those developments hopefully, of course, emerge. Thank you so much for making the time to speak to us.
So thank you so much for having me on your platform, and I really appreciate you visiting communities and want to hear from us as well. Thank you so much.